Shalom, this is Yair Davidi, speaking to you from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. Subject of our talk now concerns the lost 10 tribes and their return to the land of Israel, their return to the greater land of Israel, their return to the promised land of Israel. The promised land of Israel encompasses the area of Goshen east of the Nile River. It encompasses part of Saudi Arabia, what is now Saudi Arabia, part of the Gulf States area, areas of Iraq, of Israel, of Jordan, of Lebanon, the Isle of Cyprus, Syria, parts of Turkey, Iran, and Iraq, as we said. And this is the area. This is the area promised to Abraham. This is the area promised to the forefathers. This is the area that the lost 10 tribes will return and repossess, together with Judah, and they will settle in it. And this is what prophecy speaks about. Abraham was promised that the land from the river of Egypt, that is the Nile River, to the Euphrates, and all the territories of the Canaanite peoples then dwelling therein would be his. See Genesis 15, verse 18, 19, 20, 21. It says, on the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abraham, saying, to your descendants have I given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates. The Canaanites, the Kenizzites, the Cadmonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Rephaim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. And this was repeated. So this was what was promised. And Moses was told that the boundaries of the land would stretch from the Red Sea to the Sea of the Philistines, that is the Mediterranean, and from the Arabian desert to the river Euphrates. See Exodus chapter 23, verse 31. I will set your bounds from the Red Sea to the Sea of Philistia, from the desert to the river, for I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out from before you. Shall make no covenant with them, nor with their gods. They shall not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me. For if you serve their gods, it will surely be a snare for you. Moses was also told in Numbers 34, chapter 34, verses 1 to 13, that the borders of the promised land needed to be, and how they should be allocated amongst the tribes. The borders there described are only for 9.5 tribes, as it says in Numbers 34:13. Only for the borders in Numbers chapter 34 only concern 9.5 tribes, all of those tribes west of the Jordan, because the 2 tribes, Gad, Reuben, and Manasseh, had already received their portion. They already received their portions east of the Jordan. As it says in Numbers 34, 14 and 15. Commanded the children of Israel, saying, this is the land which you shall inherit by lot, which the Lord has commanded to give to the 9 tribes and the half tribe. For the tribe of the children of Reuben according to the house of their fathers, and the tribe of the children of Gad according to the house of their fathers, have received their inheritance, and the half tribe of Manasseh has received its inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half tribe have received their inheritance on this side of the Jordan, across from Jericho eastward toward the sunrise. Moses in Deuteronomy again commanded the Israelites to conquer the land, and he describes the mountains of the Amorites and the plains east of the Jordan and the Lebanon, and all of the area up to the Euphrates River as that which requires the Israelites to conquer and to settle in. Deuteronomy 1 and verse 7 it says, turn and take your journey and go to the mountains of the Amorites, to all the neighbouring places in the plain, in the mountains and in the lowland, in the south and on the sea coast, to the land of the Canaanites and to Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates. See, I will set the land before you, go in and possess the land which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, to give to them and their descendants after them. After the death of Moses, Joshua became the leader. Joshua was told to take all of the region east of the Jordan and the Lebanon up to the Euphrates, and including all the region of the Hittites, meaning northern Syria, and the part of Turkey. It also mentions to the Great Sea, and this expression to the Great Sea includes part of the sea, part of the and that includes islands within the sea, such as Cyprus. Joshua 1 says, every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I will give unto you, as I said to Moses. From the wilderness and the Lebanon as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and to the great sea toward the going down of the sun shall be your territory. And archaeology and historical evidence shows that, and also place names that we find in the geography of Ptolemy. Other evidence shows that the tribe of Dan once ruled over Cyprus. It also ruled over parts of southeast Turkey. And Dan also had an enclave in southeast Turkey, so did Judah. Asher was also in that region, so was Benjamin, and so were offshoots of the tribes of Issachar and Zebulun and others. And the geography of Ptolemy also gives evidence of Manasseh reaching up to the Euphrates, and also other tribes in that area. Tribe of Reuben was to be found in that region, as well as being in the Nile Delta. And all the area described, all of this region was occupied, or Israelites did at some stage or other control it, and did have settlements within it. Doesn't mean that they ruled, that they had all of the area, or that they drove out all of the inhabitants as they should have done, but they were there. They did have a presence in all of this region in ancient times, and this was part of the Promised Land, and they did rule over it on several occasions under Saul and under King David and Solomon, and it was there, and it is part of the land that was promised to them, and in the future it will belong to them. We're the lost 10 tribes. We have the 10 tribes will return. We have now at present we have the state of Israel. The state of Israel is settled by Jews. The Jews belong to the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, many of the Levites, and also minority elements from all of the other tribes. But most of the Israelites are to be found amongst the 10 tribes. The 10 lost tribes constitute the majority population of the Israelite nation. Originally there were 12 tribes of Israel. These 12 tribes split into two different sections. The 10 tribes in the north were taken into exile. They were all taken into exile, all taken away. They lost consciousness of their ancestry. They became lost. That's why they call the lost 10 tribes. But nevertheless, we have managed to trace them to the north, to the west, and they are settled in regions of Western Europe. And the offshoots also populated the USA and Canada and Australia and New Zealand, South Africa and related nations, and their kindred in Western Europe and in Scandinavia and in Ireland. All of them are, or good portions of them, significant portions amongst them. In some cases a majority of the population, in other cases not necessarily a majority but a good proportion. And those that were historically dominant amongst them, they are descendant of Hebrews. They are descendant of the Israelites, so they are descendant from lost 10 tribes. In the future they will be made aware of their ancestry, of their Israelite Israelite ancestry, who their ancestors were, that their ancestors were Israelites, and have to return and acknowledge and accept and revitalise their Israelite consciousness, and different events will occur, and eventually they, or a good portion of them, will return to the land of Israel, will return to the promised land, meaning all of the land was promised to Abraham, and it was repeated to the forefathers. And this is the land that they will dwell in and that they will conquer and settle in. We are told that they will come back. They will come back from all over from the regions that they are now in. We are told in Isaiah 60, who are these that fly like a cloud and like doves to their roosts? In other words, they will fly back. Isaiah predicted air travel, flying back. Surely the coastlands shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish shall come first. The ships of Tarshish, as we have shown from exegesis, from commentaries and traditions, the ships of Tarshish refers to ships flying the Atlantic Ocean. In other words, the lost tribes will return from the Atlantic Ocean area to bring your sons from afar, the silver and the gold with them, to the name of the Lord your God, to the Holy One of Israel, because he has glorified you. In the end times they shall return. And they shall return from that area, and also shall return from other areas, and many of them also return from northern and western Europe, and they will enter the Middle East via the Caucasus, the Caucasus and the Black Sea area, into the region of Kurdistan, and from there they will continue southward. This is predicted in the book of Micah, in the Bible. Micah 7 says, in that day shall come to you from Syria, that is in northern Iraq, and the Kurdistan and the fortified cities, Ari Matsur from the fortress, Matsur in Hebrew to the river, from sea to sea and mountain to mountain. And the word Matsur translated as fortified cities or fortress. Matsur actually means an area of what is now Kurdistan, and that is where they will come from, according to Micah 7. Also, he says, from sea to sea, from mountain to mountain, they shall come streaming back to the land of Israel, or to the area that will be Israel in the future. In other words, that portion of the Middle East that the Israelites will conquer. And this is what is going to happen, and this is what Micah describes happening. And they will return. They shall return from this area, and also they shall come from the sea areas and from all around, and they shall converge on the region. When they come back, they will settle and conquer the portions of the promised land of Israel. And this has been predicted. Micah 7 says, as we said, Micah 7, that day they shall come to you from Assyria and the fortified cities, from the fortress to the river, from Matsur to the river, in other words, from Kurdistan to the river. At present, Kurdistan, incidentally, is under the control of the US and British forces. It still is. It has been that way ever since the first Gulf War in 1991. They never left that region, and after they attacked Saddam Hussein, and then ruled in Iraq, and the American forces with the British allies came in and attacked him, and then they left, but they retained a no-fly region and forces in northern Kurdistan. Now they are still there, even though they are pulling out of the rest of Iraq. They are still in that region, and they have a strong oil interest in the area. They might pull back, they might not, but nevertheless, they just have to say that whatever happens at the present, they are there, they are still there, and whatever happens in the near future, they have set a precedent. They have established their presence in the region. They have a familiarity with the region. They have an historical stake in this region, and this is a region through which they will return to the state of Israel and to the rest of the Middle East that will conquer and settle in. And when they return, they will reunite with Judah. And they will attack their enemies as described in Isaiah chapter 11. Isaiah chapter 11 describes Judah and Ephraim together attacking and destroying their enemies and their oppressors. And it also describes them, as we have explained elsewhere, it describes how they will together fly the Palestinians out to some place in the west. They will transfer the Palestinians, Arabs, to some other region, possibly to North Africa, or to some area in Latin America. I don't know. They will take them away. They will take them away in the region, and the direction that they will take them in is towards the west, according to Isaiah chapter 11, and to see article on this matter. And getting back to what we said, when the lost 10 tribes do return, they will conquer different areas and settle in them. Micah says, as describes them returning from Matsur, from Kurdistan, and it shall be desolate, the land shall be desolate when they return, and they will heal the land, as described in Ezekiel. They make the land better. And also Micah 7 describes the land being desolate when they return, but they shall repair it. And we are told, Micah 14 says, shepherd your people with your staff, the flock of your heritages, who dwell terribly in the woodland, in the midst of Carmel, that can feed in Bashan and Gilead, as in days of old. In other words, they will reoccupy Bashan and Gilead. Gilead is in the present-day area of Jordan and Syria, and Bashan is also in Syria, reaching up to the Euphrates River area, in other words, encompassing also portions of Iraq, and neighbouring regions reaching up to the Euphrates River. That is Bashan and Gilead, where they will settle once more. Zechariah 10 has a similar message. Zechariah 10 mentions Judah. He says, I will strengthen the house of Judah, chapter 6, and I will save the house of Joseph. The house of Joseph means the 10 tribes, especially the Anglo-Saxon English-speaking peoples of the USA and the British Isles and their offshoots overseas. He says, I will bring them back because I have mercy on them, and they shall be as though I had not cast them aside. For I am the Lord their God, and will hear them. Those of Ephraim shall be like a mighty man, he says, Zechariah 10:7. Those of Ephraim, he especially mentions Ephraim. Ephraim may represent either the tribe of Ephraim, which was going to be extremely powerful and numerous, but also it is also used as a generic time for all of the lost 10 tribes. At all events they shall be strengthened, be like a mighty man. And heart shall rejoice as with wine. Yea, their children shall see it and be glad. Their heart shall rejoice in the Lord. A whistle for them and gather them, for I will redeem them. Verse 8. And they shall increase as they once increased. And verse 9. And I will sow them among the peoples, and they shall remember me in far countries. They shall live together with their children. And they shall return, and I will bring them back from the land of Egypt, and gather them from Assyria. Egypt and Assyria may mean just that. There may be something may happen, and the Israelites may be taken into captivity in those countries, or it may refer to the first exile of the 10 tribes when they were taken to Assyria and to Egypt, and from there they progressed to the west. Or these lands may also have parallels in Western nations. Egypt may, in some cases, may refer to Russia, as we have explained elsewhere, Mitzrayim in Hebrew, and which may also be Egypt, and so to Assyria may refer to areas of Central Europe. At all events, time will tell, and our eyes will be open to these secrets. And the verse is the bottom line for what we are concerned with at present. What we are talking about now is the return of the Israelites. The return of Israelites from the 10 tribes in the end times. And it says they will come back. They will come back from wherever they were. And it continues in verse 10. Zechariah 10 verse 10. I will bring them unto the land of Gilead and Lebanon. I will bring them unto the land of Gilead and Lebanon, till no more room is found for them. In other words, they will be very heavily populated in that region. And in verse 11, he shall pass through the sea with affliction, and strike the waves of the sea, and all the depths of the river shall dry up. And the pride of Assyria shall be brought down, and the scepter of Egypt and Mitzrayim shall depart. So I will strengthen them in the Lord, and they shall walk up and down in his name, says the Lord. Here the prophet is speaking of both the Judah and Joseph of the 10 tribes, as we saw in the verse Zechariah 10:6, and also Ephraim is emphasized. The presence of Ephraim is emphasized. Ephraim meaning the lost 10 tribes, especially the English-speaking section of them. See verse 10:7, Zechariah chapter 10 verse 7, when he emphasizes the strengthening of Ephraim, and he also mentions them returning from their places of exile, 10:10, and being resettled in the land of Gilead and Lebanon. As we said, Gilead is in present-day Jordan, and in part of Syria, and Lebanon is Lebanon. Lebanon is that section of the Middle East now known as Lebanon, and also the area of Syria to the north of it, all of that coastal mountainous region and the plain area, that is Lebanon, and that is where the lost 10 tribes will also come back to, and where they will settle in. And when they return, they will conquer these lands, and they will settle in them, and they will increase and multiply in these areas. And this is for the future, and we hope that, God willing, we will live to see it, and if we don't, that our children will. At all events, this is what our peoples, those of us who are descended from the lost tribes of Israel or from Judah, we will live to see and experience. And to those who attach themselves to the 10 tribes or to Judah will also participate in this. And God willing, the Lord will have mercy on his people, have mercy on the world, and may God bless all of you. And thank you very much. This is Yair David. I've been speaking to you from Jerusalem, the capital of Israel, and the future capital of all the tribes of Israel and of the whole world. And they shall